Where are you currently at?
Sacred Heart facility,
And where's that at?
Southfield.
So you're not in Sault Ste. Marie at all.
Welcome to Rebel Chaser. My name is Gail, and I have to apologize. I took a week off because my mother and I went to this cabin that we usually go to about once a year. It's at Angora Lake outside of Lake Tahoe, and they have these really cute old cabins. In fact, this picture that you're looking at right now is from there. But I had no Wi-Fi at all. So there was no way I could upload anything. I thought maybe I could, no way. So I just decided to, since I was there, I couldn't do anything about it. I just relaxed the entire time. So anyway, I did find this gem. This is from Judge David Hoffman. He is at the 70th District Court in Saginaw, Michigan. And he has a defendant who is being a little evasive about exactly where she is. She's actually supposed to be in court in person. She didn't show. So you'll see what happens. They do go through the hearing, and I'll let you know what happens at the end.
I provided her with the information. I told her that she was aware this is an in-person examination. And I had indicated at that time that I would ask the court if we were just doing ministerial matters, such as, for example, grading an exam or something of that ilk, that court would probably permit that. Based upon my discussion, she's indicated that she wishes the examination. I indicated to her that was a difficulty not only for the government but for myself. And anyway, she's provided the Zoom number. Apparently, she is now present and can address the question. I guess I would be asking the court to adjourn the matter. Perhaps she can give you the logistics and specifics of her rehabilitation placement.
Ma'am, your name on Zoom?
Wendy Knuckle.
All right. Ma'am, you're in a facility in Sault Ste. Marie?
Correct.
How long have you been in that facility?
I've been there roughly about a week and a half, roughly.
A week and a half. So why are you letting your attorney know today that you're up in that facility?
Because I had a court date today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. Why didn't you let her know a week and a half ago?
I don't know. I didn't. I did call the courts, and I believe I called your voicemail.
Ma'am, stop right there. We have a courtroom full of witnesses here, and now we're going to have to adjourn this matter because you're not here because you couldn't pick up the phone a week and a half ago and call your attorney.
I apologize. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Mr. Van Norman, how many witnesses do you have here today?
Your Honor, I have 3 endorsed for exam. They're all present. Whether I would use all 3 or not, I don't know. But they are all here. Additionally, Your Honor, I would state in the court records, I think will confirm it. This is not the first time something like this has happened. There was another event where counsel here and client failed to appear. From what I read, there was no call from a rehab facility on that occasion. The other thing, Your Honor, and I'm just the rehab facility notwithstanding, I'm just, and I'm not a technical expert, so I don't know what the distortion might be for the sound system. But this is somebody that if she were standing here sounding like that, I would ask the court to consider drug testing.
Ma'am, what facility are you at?
It's a new Women's Hope facility.
What is it?
New Hope Women's Facility.
New Hope Women's Facility in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan.
Correct.
And how come we can't see you on video? And how come earlier we were just seeing your feet?
I don't know. I can't figure out how to use this, how to flip it around. I'm not very good at this.
Is there staff there that can help you?
Yeah, but I'm in a room by myself here.
Ma'am, are you truly in a facility right now?
Yes, Your Honor.
We're gonna run this prelim right now. Ma'am, you want a prelim?
What is a prelim?
Well, that's a hearing where the prosecutor presents witnesses to establish whether or not there's probable cause to believe the crime was committed and probable cause to believe you committed it. It's a relatively low standard. It's not like beyond a reasonable doubt in circuit court. If you had a trial, it's a lower standard, a probable cause standard. You can waive that hearing if you want to. You don't have to. But if you want to have a hearing, we're going to have a hearing today because we're going to get this matter concluded, at least at the district court level. So if you want to have a hearing, we can have one. If you want me to leave the bench and you can talk to your attorney for a moment, we can do that. But either way, we're going to resolve this matter today because the witnesses are here and you should have been here. And I'm doubtful about where you're at this point. All right.
Okay.
Your
So,
Honor, I will say,
Hold on, ma'am.
the officer did approach me and had done a little bit of online. There is such a facility in Sioux St. Marie. Whether she's there or not,
So that the record's clear, Ms. Nokel and I did have a fairly extensive discussion early this morning when I was notified about the nature of preliminary examination and what the people would have to prove at that hearing. And we talked about some issues which I told her I would be addressing with the prosecutor at a later moment. We also discussed the question of waiver of exam, understanding that the standard is quite low for purposes of this probable cause hearing. In any event, what is your position currently, Ms. Nokel? Do you wish to continue this matter for preliminary examination, or do you wish to waive it upstairs where we can address the concerns that you have?
No, I don't want to waive, Your Honor.
All right. Well, then sit tight, ma'am. We're going to have a preliminary exam today, right now. And
Okay.
you can hear us, correct?
Correct.
Your Honor, just one other matter.
Mhm.
In as much as in the courts pointed it out, we've seen nothing but feet and blurry things and so on. In the absence of a stipulation to identification, I think there's a problem here. So I'm asking counsel to stipulate for exam purposes that the person on the video, or at least talking on the video, is in fact this defendant.
Counsel, can you stipulate?
As officer of the court, I have not met Ms. Nokel or her feet previous to this appearance. And as officer of the court, I have some concerns about making representations that is in fact Ms. Nokel. I can represent as officer of the court that I believe she in fact did contact. She obviously had the wherewithal to contact my office this morning, assuming that's the same person. I can say that I verily believe that that is Ms. Nokel for purposes of this proceeding and to move forward.
Ma'am, what's your date of birth?
10/30/1983.
When we had a local address in Bay City, what was that address, ma'am?
3731 South Lucerne Drive, and that's Bay City, Michigan 48706.
South what?
Lucerne.
South Lucerne. Was there ever an address that you lived at on West Midland Street in Bay City?
Yep, that's
What
the newest address. The one I thought I had on file was on the 3731.
What address was that, ma'am?
401 West Midland Street, Bay City, Michigan 48706.
All right. Was there ever an address that you had on Wilson Street in Bay City?
Yeah, it was 1206.
All right. Bay City, what was that zip code on Wilson?
48708.
All right. The record should reflect all three of those addresses for the known defendant. Were just stated by this individual, Lucerne, Wilson, and Midland. And we're going to proceed with the preliminary exam.
Very well, Your Honor.
So just sit tight, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah. And also see if they'll verify that she's there. They might not, but. All right, ma'am, hold on.
Yeah.
And we're going to see if staff up there can help you out with the video transmission so that you can be seen on video. All right.
Yep. I'm gonna get on here right now and see if I can figure it out.
Good, thank you.
Yeah.
Ms. Solomsky, any further preliminary
I would
motions?
just move to for order of sequestration by review the court if the prosecutor has in fact sequestered the officers or these will testify at trial.
All right,
Thank you.
Officer Boddington is my first witness, the remaining officer is my officer in charge.
all right.
And he is listed.
And it was noted that other individuals did leave the courtroom upon that request for sequestration, so that order will stand. And you may call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. This time people will call Officer Boddington.
All right, Officer Byington, come on up, raise your right hand. Do you swear firm testimony? Go ahead, Mark.
Sorry.
Sorry.
This great testimony you're about to give this cause no opinion, shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so be got.
Force of habit, sorry. Come on up, officer.
I apologize, Your Honor. Before I begin the question, the court offer proposed, he was proposed one, which is the lab report.
Any objection, Ms. Solomsky?
No objection for purposes of examination only, Your Honor.
All right, the lab report, proposed exhibit number 1 will be admitted.
Approach, Your Honor.
You may. Thank you.
Officer Boddington, good morning. Your full name for the record, please.
Good morning. Full name Christopher Ian Bonington. Last name spelled B as in boy, Onnington.
Current occupation
Deputy with the Saginaw County Sheriff's Office
and for how
since July 2017.
long? Okay, so if my math is correct, you were so employed on April 21st of this year.
That is correct.
And in what capacity were you employed this?
At that time, I wasn't still currently employed as a rope show deputy on the law enforcement division.
And were you working a shift on the 21st?
I was.
Directing your attention to the afternoon hours, sometime between 4 and 5 p.m. Did you have occasion to respond to a call on Nelson Road?
I did.
And what was it that caused you to go to that address and respond to some type of call?
It was for a potential elder abuse call.
When you got there, what if anything did you observe?
While I was there, I observed 3 individuals, 2 males, 1 female, extensive drug paraphernalia, and also I did locate some actual narcotics.
I just called the facility. They said she's not there. I said, is that because you can't legally say that? She said, no,
2
we don't have
males
anybody
and a
back there.
female.
Because I told her we needed help.
You indicated you did talk to the person you believe to be the resident of that area?
Yes, I briefly spoke with all members that were there, along with my other colleagues that were with me as well too, along with 2 members from the state of Michigan were also there for adult protective services.
Okay. And when you responded, were you working alone or did you have a partner or other officers?
I had my partner, Deputy Butchinger, Jordan Butchinger, and our Patrol Sergeant Christian was also present as well too.
And just for the record, your partner is the one seated next to you.
That is correct.
Now, you indicated you observed narcotics. right?
Yes, sir.
What brought that to your attention and where did you find it?
It was brought to my attention by Deputy Butchinger because I was also in the process of photographing as well too. I further located those narcotics in the what is to be the master bedroom on the west side of the house. Further, there was also some other narcotic evidence of narcotics that was located in the trash can in that same bathroom as well too by myself.
Okay, specifically what evidence?
Between drug paraphernalia, between a spoon that appeared to be burnt, a black or brownish tar type substance, and I can't remember what else there was too.
And I'm sorry if I missed it, with respect to the narcotics themselves or the suspected narcotics, are you the one located?
I located, I can't remember exactly which portions of it I located. Some were located by Deputy Butchinger and or Sergeant Jamie, and the other, some of it was also located by myself during a secondary search.
The ones that you located, and again, I apologize.
Sure.
Where were those?
The second ones I located, which I believe was a wrapper that had a black tarry looking substance, was located in a trash can, a small little trash can in the master bathroom next to the toilet.
Any others?
Not that I can recall at this moment.
After you located them, what if anything did you do?
I photographed them, appropriately collected them in evidence, submitted to the evidence room for the Detective Bureau to further send to the lab to have it examined.
The courts previously made a finding as to the identity of the defendant on Zoom. Did you have occasion to talk to somebody by the name of Wendy?
I did.
And what if anything did you ask her?
Just as a matter prophylactically, the prosecutor established whether in fact this number was Mirandized.
I was getting to that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Then I.
All right. No, that's fine. Go ahead then.
Prior to talking to the defendant, did you Mirandize her?
When she was in the house and we were just having a brief conversation between myself, Deputy Commissioner, and Sergeant Jamie, there was no Mirandization. Once I subsequently detained her later on for, again, suspicious evidence and whatnot with the drugs being found, I secured her and placed her in the back of my patrol vehicle. At that time, because she was detained with handcuffs behind her back and in the back of my patrol vehicle, I did Mirandize her.
At the time, you did not Mirandize her. Was she free to leave?
Yes.
Was she placed under arrest in any way, shape, or form?
No.
Was she told to stay in a certain place or anything like that?
No.
What, if any, let's talk about the first part of it before you placed her in control vehicle. What, if anything, did she tell you with respect to that?
Nothing directly to me through, and I can't answer for hearsay purposes. That double statements were made to Sergeant Jamie and Deputy Butcher.
Did you hear those statements, officer?
I did, Your Honor.
You can testify to what you heard.
Okay.
What did you?
Ultimately, she denied any sort of drug use. She also denied other issues that were surrounding it, such as the relationship with the co-defendant Chris that was present as well too. I forget his last name.
Did you or anybody with you have occasion to ascertain the nature of the relationship? Or if there was a relationship between her and you?
There was. They were able to ascertain that through also the co-defendant as well too.
And what was the nature of that relationship?
That they were essentially dating and having a sexual relationship.
Oh, so she in fact misrepresented the status of that relationship to you and or your.
Correct.
When did you continue the interrogation if she was in there?
I did briefly.
And what, if anything, did she tell you?
The main thing I asked her and she told me, and what she answered my question to, was any sort of drug use. And what she did state that she did previously use crack cocaine the night before.
And some of the items that you located that were located on scene, were they consistent with crack cocaine?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Moment, sure. Officer, did you have occasion to, so officer,
Deputy, sir. I just fine.
deputy, did you have any occasion to observe anything about this particular defendant that would be consistent with drug use and scarring?
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure of the relevancy under 401, but.
I'll allow it for purposes of the prelim.
The defendant did have, through my experience being on the road to deal with individuals with substance abuse, she did have clear indicators of marks, track marks on her arms, and also two abrasions on her face from those extensive drug use as well too.
Now, you indicated that you were responding to complaints regarding adult foster care or elder abuse techniques.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Did you have occasion to ascertain the identity of the resident that was being supervised and cared for?
I did meet with him. The identity was discovered during the time of the contact, that date, whose name I unfortunately cannot remember.
Did you discuss with that person? What, if any, discussions did you have with that person?
Briefly, just to see if he knew who was in the residence with him, if he was allowing them to be here or not, and also to determine any relationship that that individual was having with, particularly with the defendant here, Ms. Wendy.
And were you able to learn anything about the nature of that relationship?
The older gentleman
I
related
object
that.
hearsay.
Sustained.
Yes, Mr. John.
Before you do, this resident was a male,
Yes, sir.
elderly?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cross exam.
Yes, thank you. Also, I just have a few questions. If I say something, I'll talk too fast now.
Ms. Knuckle, are you still there? Ma'am?
I'm here.
Okay, any luck with that video?
No, not exactly. I think it might have a button.
I just saw a piece of paper, ma'am, so.
Yeah, that's, like, do you want me to flip the camera around? Can you see me now? See, I will be able to see
Yeah, now I
that.
can see.
I can't. I
You're
just have
upside down, but at least we can see you, yes.
to- Okay, all right, yeah.
Can you put it back on your face again?
Yep, I don't know. Can you see me now?
I can.
Okay.
Not sure why you're upside down, but at least we can see you.
because my
You wanna
phone,
continue?
yeah,
All right, just hold still for a second. Thank you.
yep.
Before we get to cross-exam, further direct.
Thank you, Your Honor. Deputy, the person that you identified as defendant Noble, that you spoke with, is she present either in courtroom or on video?
She is on video.
Okay. And would you, as best you can, describe her for us?
Blonde hair, Caucasian female, appears to be wearing a green color, possible hoodie, I think.
And is that person right side up or upside down from our perspective?
Upside down for our perspective,
Your
sir.
Honor, may the record reflect that.
Record will so reflect.
Thank you. Dan, I can see.
All right, thank you. Just hold on, ma'am. Your attorney is now going to cross-examine the deputy. So hold on.
Okay.
Good morning. Officer, I understand you were accompanied with protective service workers as well as your partner?
Yes, ma'am.
All same car, came and met together?
Well, all different cars. We are, as deputies, we have our own individual vehicle. The state of Michigan workers arrived in a vehicle together.
Okay, so this was prearranged between you and protective services and all these folks to come to the Nelson Street address to investigate the living conditions of an older person that was residing at that Nelson Street address?
The state of Michigan, the workers did request this.
Okay, and just so that I'm clear, at this point, it was a cold call and there wasn't a court process such as search warrant or anything of that ilk, right?
No, ma'am.
But it was pre-established that all of you were gonna end up meeting at this particular address to check about a potentially vulnerable person. Is
Yes,
that
ma'am.
it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You arrived at that address simultaneously, separately?
Simultaneously, ma'am.
Or did you all approach the house at the same time, later times?
Yes, ma'am.
Which? Who approached the house first?
Ultimately, all of us did. I believe it was one of the state workers are the ones that knocked on the door, and the older gentleman that lives there who we were checking on came to the door, came outside, spoke with us.
Do you remember the names of the Department of Michigan Protective Services workers that met you at that Nelson Street address?
I unfortunately can't remember the names off the top of my head. I believe one of them, his name is Joe, but again, without leaving our report.
Judge, you're prepared police report in this case, is that right?
Say again, ma'am?
You prepared a police report in this case concerning the incident?
I did.
Okay, and your report would contain the information of the people that participated in this contact at the Nelson Street address, would that be fair?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so at that time then, you're all at the front door and a gentleman approached, and you came to understand that that was the man that we were investigating to make sure that he was safe.
Yes, ma'am.
Would his name been Gerald? In any event, was this an elderly gentleman, middle-aged gentleman?
Elderly.
Elderly. By elderly, how old can you estimate for me closely?
I am about 70 years old.
About 70 years old. And did you determine that he was in fact the resident of that particular address?
Yes, ma'am.
And as you were conducting your investigation, did you ascertain whether any of the other individuals that you had contact with in that particular, at that residence were in fact residing at that address?
There were two individuals that were currently there as well too.
And who were those individuals? My
Your client Wendy and her partner Chris, again, whose last name is excuse me.
Were you able to ascertain whether or not there was any relationship between that elderly gentleman and my client and the other male that you said was residing there?
Through investigation, it was just determined to be more of a cohabitants.
There was another individual that was also on the premises at that time as well?
Correct.
And what was that, was a male, right?
Yes.
What was his relationship to that address, if any?
His relationship was he's also cohabitant and dating your client Wendy.
Okay, so there were essentially, what, 4 people there on the premises at that point?
For the occupants that were there,
Yes.
2 males, the older gentleman, Gerald, whose name you stated, Chris, and your defendant Wendy.
Did you come to determine that there were other folks that were living at that address as well?
No, ma'am. Okay.
So at that point, the elderly gentleman lets you into the residence?
He did.
Okay. And at that point, strike that. Where, if you know, were the other 2 individuals at about the time you entered into the residence?
After I was the last one to enter the residence because I was trying to deal with a very happy pit bull puppy out there.
Okay.
But it was determined that Wendy and Chris were located in the master bedroom, which was located on the west side of the residence.
Okay, so this is a 1-story dwelling?
1-story modular home.
That's a modular home. more than one bedroom on that floor, on that particular floor?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And at the time, strike that. What were the protective services officers doing as you actually entered into the dwelling?
From what I recall, they were doing there, I would assume, can't really assume. I just know that they were talking with Gerald, and they were also looking through the residence for, as part of their investigation for any sort of elderly abuse and or health purposes.
Okay, now, so that I understand the thing about the pit bull, you were outside for a minute, you were distracted with the dog, they went in, and then it came, there was a little bit of period of time before you actually physically went in?
Correct.
Okay. And you were the only person there that was outside, that you were the last one going?
Correct.
So, am I correct in understanding that when you came in, you saw others speaking to Gerald?
Yes.
Okay, do you know who those folks were that were speaking to him?
Again, it would have been the two state of Michigan employees that were
Okay, so essentially they were trying to do a security check, welfare check.
doing their investigation on the matter.
Okay, what was your partner doing when you went in?
My partner, Deputy Blessinger, was going through the residence to make sure there's nobody else in there, and also assisting with talking with the other occupants of the home.
So so he's moving about as you're in the residence. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
At which usually do entrance into that particular dwelling, do you actually see the two other individuals, my client and the other?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. And at that point is when you observed your partner speaking to these two individuals?
Yep, him and primarily also Sergeant Chris Jamie.
Do those two individuals essentially remain in the main area of that particular dwelling while your partner was going to various other areas in that modular home?
Your Honor, if she could clarify as to which two individuals.
By two individuals, I'm talking about my co-defendant and the person that you've indicated you established was her boyfriend and a co-defendant in this case. Right?
Wendy and Chris.
Yes, exactly, Chris, I'll refer him like that, thank you. So were they essentially detained or essentially in the living room area of that modular dwelling?
Yes, ma'am.
And at that point, other officers were taking actions with respect to this dwelling, right? They were moving about, checking to see, for example, if there was anybody else there.
Yes, ma'am.
And then at some point, who was, do you recall, who was speaking with my client and Chris at or about the time that your partner was going out into other rooms?
That would be Sergeant Jamie is the one that was speaking with Wendy and Chris.
Okay, that's good. And then at that point, you were alerted to information by your partner?
Yes.
Okay. Because you hadn't been back in any of the bedrooms. At that point, you hadn't been anywhere other than in the front area of that particular mobile home, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so at that point, you were alerted. And as a result of whatever he told you, you went into the back bedroom?
Yes.
Okay. And when you went into the bedroom, what, if anything, did you see?
I saw extensive drug paraphernalia such as hypodermic needles, hundreds of them, to include some wrappers that had some residue indicated narcotics, and then subsequent, again, narcotics, as I testified earlier, being located in a trash can.
So did you actually seize the paraphernalia that you observed and wrappers and such?
I photographed and seized it.
You photographed and seized it, as well as what you learned later to be drugs from inside a waste can?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, where was that waste can in relation, in that particular bedroom?
Off the bedroom, the master bedroom and the master bathroom were the only portions on the west side of the residence. That was again located in the trash can next to the toilet in the master bedroom on the west side of the house.
So essentially, all of the accoutrement of drug use, abuse, and drugs were found in that bedroom.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. And was your partner still in the bedroom when you photographed, ultimately seized this material?
He was intermittently going back and forth as we were interacting with the people at the residence, and while I was also gathering the narcotics.
If I could back up just for a minute, what was the condition of any of the gentlemen, the elder gentleman that was the basis for your investigation? How did he appear at the time?
Your Honor, first of all, the question's common. Second of all.
Yeah, I was thinking, I'm not sure how that's relevant, how the older gentleman looked
Well,
to a possession of narcotics from
Well,
other individuals.
I know the prosecutor was allowed to elicit evidence concerning what appeared to be circumstances which one might reasonably or not infer a connection between drugs with my client.
Well,
I was
that's-
just wondering whether he was a substance abuser.
All right, I guess, did the elderly gentleman have any appearance of drug use at that time?
No, Your Honor, he did not.
All right, next question.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Okay, so did you ultimately document all of the evidence that you seized out of this particular mobile home?
Yes.
Now, there came a point, was it after these materials were discovered in the bedroom that you came out, observed communications that were going on between your partner, or excuse me, your officer in charge or whatever, and my client?
The exchanges between Sergeant Jane and your client were going on both before I entered in to go observe, collect the evidence, and after I observed.
Okay, so you were coming in and out, but there was communication, you observed some of it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and if I understood you correctly, during the course of this examination with those officers, my client was free to leave. That's what you're telling me. She could have just walked out by. Is that what you're telling
We
us?
had nothing to say that they could not leave.
Okay. When you were in the bedroom, what was there any evidence, physical evidence of occupancy in that bedroom?
There was
Men's clothing, women's clothing?
definitely men's and women's clothing of younger age attire.
All right. So, when you say younger, I'm assuming you're not talking about baby clothes, you're talking about like younger adult person clothes?
Correct.
Oh, yes. All right. And was there any proof of residency or anything identifying, any forms of identification associated with that particular bedroom? Driver's license, bills, anything like that?
Not that I can recall off the top of my head.
You were wearing a dash cam, or you were wearing a body cam?
No, we do not have body cams.
You do not have body cams. How about, was there a SWAT cam?
Those were not activated at that time.
I don't know.
All right, thank you. Any redirect?
Did there come a time, if ever, when you observed a co-defendant and or the defendant in that master bedroom?
I never observed them physically in that bedroom when I was in residence. They were all in the living room.
But you did observe clothing that was consistent with their age in the bedroom of the narcotics.
Well, Jeff, that's a mischaracterization. He said he observed young clothing, male, be consistent with.
I'll sustain.
Nothing.
All right, thank you, officer. You may be excused.
Thank you.
Ms. Knockel, are you still there? Ma'am?
I am.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Prosecutor just asked for a moment to talk to his investigator, so hold on.
Yep, go ahead.
All right, next witness then.
Deputy, somebody swear testimony about giving cause on penetrating the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so the truth.
Deputy, come on up, have a seat if you would. Stand aside with the microphone, state full name, spell your last name.
Deputy George Buchner, Buching here.
All right, thank you. You take the witness.
Deputy, by your title, I'm going to assume you're deputy sheriff.
Yes, sir. Deputy of the Sheriff's Office, about 7 years.
With our county, Saga.
Yes, sir. Sorry, no.
You were so employed on April 21st this year?
Yes, sir.
And did you have occasion to respond to the same phone that Deputy Fine?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, was perfect.
Yes.
At the time, there came a time when you entered that trailer.
Yes, sir. We met prior to with adult practice services. Prior to arriving at the venue, we all arrived together on scene.
And you had occasion to enter that residence, correct?
Yes, we did.
Previously, one of the people you encountered is he or she present on video or in court?
Yes, she is.
The screen is dark now, but did you have occasion to observe that screen during prior testimony?
I did.
And having observed that screen as well as the courtroom, can you identify that person? Did you identify that person?
Yes, it's Wendy Temple.
Where was that person located amongst us, either the courtroom or on the?
She's on video.
Your Honor, may the record reflect, kind of convoluted, but reflect identity.
It will.
Thank you. When you first encountered that defendant, did there come a time when you encountered that defendant inside the residence?
Yes. Initially, we all arrived on scene together. Child Protective Services approached and knocked on the door first. Gerald Novak, the homeowner, answered. He invited us in, gave us permission for CPS to conduct their investigation, allow us inside, and we conducted our investigation and search of the home.
Were you involved in this search?
Yes, I was.
Did you have occasion, if ever, locate any suspected narcotics?
Yes.
Where did you locate?
In the master bedroom is where we approached, and on entering, we found.
Judge, if I might ask that this also testify to the specifics of who did what rather than we.
Yeah, just keep it to what you saw, what you observed, what you did, okay? All right, go ahead, counsel.
Continue speaking in the first person singular.
I entered the bedroom and found Wendy lying on the bed, single mattress.
And when you say Wendy, you're referring to the defendant? No?
I am.
And what else, if anything, did you find in there?
On entering, we made contact with. I made contact with Wendy, and she was sleeping. I woke her up. We gathered I gathered her statement. I asked for assistance from my colleagues, and we conducted the search in the bedroom.
At this time, there's more than one of you doing that.
Yes, sir.
And in fact, did you locate any of the suspected narcotics, or were they located in the presence of others?
The suspected narcotics were located in all of our presence.
That was in that same bedroom where the defendant was located?
Yes.
Thank you, nothing further.
All right, cross exam.
Good morning. I just have a few questions that I want to ask you, officer. If I'm understanding, you had a pre-meeting with the adult protective services before you actually went to the Nelson Street address?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I met prior with my colleagues.
When did that happen in relationship to when you actually went to the residence?
Approximately 10 minutes prior to
10 minutes before?
arriving.
Had there been communications between you and adult protective services sometime before that actual meeting? I mean, in terms of scheduling it, for example?
No.
Okay, so you just arrived, you arrived at your office and they were there, and you then ultimately went with them to the Nelson Street address, or did you have some understanding you were going to be meeting with them ahead of time before you went to the Nelson Street address?
I was dispatched along with my colleagues to meet with adult protective services at another venue prior to making arrangements to meet at the listed venue.
When did that happen in relationship to when you actually arrived at the Nelson Street address?
Approximately 10 minutes prior.
10 minutes before. Okay.
That's a rough estimate.
Understand. Okay. So at that point, then, protective services and your police vehicle arrived at Nelson Street address. 2 cars, 3 cars.
Yes, multiple cars.
Multiple
I don't
cars.
have the exact amount of cars.
Did you initially have contact at the door with the elderly gentleman, Mr. Mills? Was it Gerald?
Adult protective services had the initial contact.
Okay, at the door. Were you standing in proximity to them? Were you watching from outside?
Yes, we were standing in proximity to adult protective services.
Okay. So at that point, the gentleman lets you into the house, and you go where, if anywhere?
Inside the front door, immediately to speak with the homeowner, Gerald, and assist adult protective services with their investigation.
Okay, so at that point then, you're just at that point participating in adult protective services wellness check with this gentleman, or at that point, had you gone to various other areas in the mobile home?
At that point, we were just assisting.
How about you? What were you?
At that point, I was assisting with speaking with Gerald and
Okay.
conducting their investigation.
Okay, and where were any other officers, if there were any other officers at the time you were talking to Gerald?
Sergeant Jamie was with me, and Deputy Bonington was just outside dealing with the dog, and
Okay.
then he arrived shortly after. Joined us shortly after.
How long did this discussion go on between all of you with this gentleman?
In total, so we were probably tied up in the call for at least an hour.
Okay. Okay, as you're all standing around talking, participating or listening to the communication going on in the wellness check, when did anyone else leave that particular area to go anywhere else in that particular mobile home?
I'm sorry, can you repeat again?
Yeah, sure, you're all having this communication, at some point, people are dispatching, somebody's going somewhere else in there. At what point did officers, all of you, leave that wellness communication and go into bedrooms or various other areas of the home?
While I was talking to Gerald along with CPF, Adult Protective Services, I was gathering statements, and Adult Protective Services had requested us to search the venue, all the bedrooms, and to see if anyone was inside the bedrooms.
Okay, that request by a protective service worker was made to all of the officers at that point, or do you want to you specifically?
Yes, ma'am. I was initially asked, and then Sergeant Jamie was with me as well.
So there came a point then that both you and Sergeant Jamie went into an area which has been described as a bedroom,
Yes,
a
ma'am.
master bedroom?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the two of you go into that bedroom, and together you observe, you say, my client laying on a bed.
Yes, ma'am. I observed your client laying in the bed inside of the master bedroom.
Was there anyone else in the master bedroom at that time?
Yes, I believe it was her boyfriend, Chris. I can't remember his last name.
Just so that I understand clearly, the discussion goes on about the elderly wellness check, and the social workers or protective services direct you to go into the back area, checking for people, and you and your partner, Mr. Bennington, go to this back bedroom, and that's when you observe my client in a bed with another individual in the room.
Yes, ma'am.
I've understood this correctly.
Yes, ma'am.
And what, if anything, happened after you observed these two individuals in that particular bedroom?
I conducted an interview with Wendy, Mr. Client, and I requested assistance from the other deputies,
Who are the other deputies you requested assistance
Deputy
from?
Byington and Sergeant Jamie, to
Okay,
assist in searching the rest of the room.
so at that point, that is when you walk in with your fellow officer, you then you have the communication with her and then direct everybody else to come in and execute a search of that particular room?
Yes, ma'am.
And who participated then in the search of that bedroom?
I conducted the search, Sergeant Jamie conducted the search, and Deputy Byington conducted the search.
And so I'm clear, this is all going on at the same time, right? You're searching here, he's searching there.
Yes, ma'am.
How big of a room is this?
Approximately.
Standard master bedroom. I'm not exactly sure at this time.
What, if anything, did you physically seize out of that bedroom?
I did not seize anything at the time. Deputy Byington conducted the search in the bathrooms where the suspected drugs were seized.
Where's the bathroom relationship to that master bedroom where you say the drugs were seized? Is it adjacent? Is it part of?
It was part of the bedroom. As you walk in, to the north.
And the other gentleman at that point was the other non-law enforcement person was in the bedroom while y'all are searching this particular area in the bathroom.
I believe Adult Protective Services were in the main living room,
Okay,
not in the bedroom.
yeah, I'm only talking about law enforcement at this point. I mean, that's arguable, but, okay, I don't have anything further at this point. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
No redirection.
All right, thank you. Further proofs?
No, thank you.
Any proofs?
No,
Counsel?
not at this time.
All right. Well, based upon the testimony, the court is going to find at least probable cause to believe the crimes were committed and probable cause to believe that Ms. Knockel committed them. based upon the testimony presented here today. So the matter will be bound over to circuit court for trial or other disposition. Ms. Knockel, are you there? Ma'am?
Yeah, yes, I hear you, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to give you one more chance now to tell me where you're at right now presently, please.
I am at a rehab facility.
What's the name of that rehab facility again?
I would have to sign you a release. I was at Sault Ste. Marie for about a week, maybe about a week, and I left there, and I'm now at another rehab facility.
So you told us earlier about a New Hope facility in Sault Ste.
So
Marie,
that-
and that's where you're at. Are you
Yes,
at that facility, ma'am?
Not right now, currently,
Yes?
no. No, I'm at another.
Where are you? Ma'am, when I asked you earlier where you were, I meant currently. Where are you currently at?
Sacred Heart facility,
And where's that at?
Southfield.
So you're not in Sault Ste. Marie at all?
I was in Sault Ste. Marie. I believe that under the medical, I would have to be, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't want to fully.
No, I don't know what you're saying, ma'am. Ma'am, what you're saying is you're lying to this court. The court is going to issue a bench, ma'am. Stop talking. The court is going to enter a bench warrant for your arrest. So if the officers locate you, you will be arrested. You will be held without bond until you appear in front of a circuit judge. This matter is being bound over to circuit court. And do you have an address in Southfield where you're located now, ma'am?
I don't.
Sacred Heart in Southfield. Well, we're pulling that up. We're not seeing any facility named Sacred Heart in Southfield. And just for the record, ma'am, while the prelim was going on, my staff did contact New Hope in Sault Ste. Marie. They indicated you were not there. So you've not been truthful with the court. I am revoking your bond and issuing a bench warrant. There'll be a hold for you. So if you choose to turn yourself in, that's up to you. If you don't, when we locate you, you will be arrested. Anything further, counsel?
Your Honor, while the court was conducting that discussion, Officer Bonnet or Deputy Bonington did a little bit of Google type research. There wasn't a Sacred Heart in Southfield. There's one in Warren. Having been an Oakland County native, Sacred Heart's a name that I'm familiar with from a lot of places. So it may or may not be the case, but just so the court's aware.
All right, I appreciate that. All right, we'll be in recess.
Well, what do you expect when you're shady about where you are and why you didn't show up to court? She wasn't at the first place. I'm sure she's probably not at the second place either. And then when he was trying to figure out if she was really the right person, and they were asking all these different addresses, it's like, okay, she doesn't pay her bills. She has to move because she gets evicted or gets told to leave. And now she's on the run. She knows she's got a warrant, and I doubt she's turning herself in. So anyway, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you next time.